Let's look at some terrible solutions to the housing crisis. Hello, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because, well, we need to look at these solutions to the housing crisis. And you tell me in the comments if you think these are good ideas or if they're utterly atrocious. Okay, so let's get started. Written by Poppy Johnston on Yahoo Finance. Tax vacant homes. Government co-ownership. 3 ideas to fix the housing crisis. Government co-ownership. Government that taxes you your entire life. That you're working for them pretty much a third of the year. That the only people that can avoid tax are either using investment properties or other mechanisms to get around it. Which, I don't blame them. They'll take your money off you and then they'll co-own your home with you. Yeah, that's a bloody solution, isn't it? I haven't even read the bloody article. I'm already angry at this one. Oh, fun. Oh, come on. This is just slow creeping of socialism, state control of private property, everyone. I'm not being hyperbolic. That's what the state ownership of housing is. Do we want to live in a country like that? Why are people suggesting this? Where's the people arguing for a reduction in the burden that is placed on our backs? Well, you know what it is. Is it the civil servants, the media class, the new priestly class, that they're not even burdened by this stuff? How many inner city Greens, champagne sipping socialists that have never done it tough, that have never really had to financially struggle through their whole lives? They've been pampered through their childhood, through the university, always had a job, never had to worry about money, they had the nice little bureaucratic job through the whole time. Why? They're probably not even going to appreciate the impact that the state has on them because they've probably never had to individually send them the money. It's different when you're a small business owner. When you see a big chunk of money that you've worked really bloody hard to come in, and then you got to ship a big chunk of it to a bunch of bureaucrats at the ATO. Or you go to jail. Isn't it awesome? That's why we need to get rid of pay-as-you-go. Okay, we need to scrap this pay-as-you-go bullshit and make citizens pay their own taxes. Okay, you get all of it. You got to pay your own super. You got to transfer it. Type in the bloody numbers in your bank. You got to take your tax money every week and send it to the government. That's what we really need to do. If you want to fight the socialism and the state control and the authoritarianism, you need to get people paying their own bloody taxes, because then they will feel the pain. They'll actually experience it. So I don't give a shit. If people are complaining, oh, you don't want to pay your fair share, if you haven't had to transfer the money yourself, you've got no bloody idea. Okay, it's just that simple. There's a different experience in your body. Your muscles tense up when you press that send button. So, back to this. Unless you've been living under a rock, you're probably aware that house prices have been marching skyward. February CoreLogic figures showed house values increased by 22.4% in 12 months, marking the biggest cyclical increase ever. The cost of renting has also been rising, with vacancy rates down to 1.3%. Welcome news if you already own a home, less desirable if you don't. Home ownership rates are falling fast because it now takes so long to save for a deposit, especially for young people that don't have the luxury of asking the bank of mum and dad for help. Now, so many people are talking about the bank of mum and dad, but there isn't evidence that it's actually happening as much as people realize. Okay, and I'll link to that video at the end of this one. It's kind of a fallacy. It now takes 12 years on average to save a 20% deposit compared to just 7 years in the 1990s. The tough reality is when people don't make it into the housing market, they end up renting into retirement, where they are more likely to sink into poverty. Okay, this is the problem. Renting all the way into retirement, even having a mortgage into retirement, you've got a big chunk of your money, every paycheck, that's put into super. Now, okay, I understand. I acknowledge the advantages of that long term to force people to save, to give people that incentive. But what would be better? Having a big chunk of super that you friddle away or renting forever, or having a property that you get capital growth over, or security or less stress? What if you could optionally pay half your super into your mortgage repayments? Why not? Or maybe you could even have just the 10-year window in your life where all of your super payments, you can voluntarily get it paid off your mortgage to really destroy it quick. Sure, you won't have as much money at the end, but your mortgage will get decimated much quicker. That's going to have a reduction in your stress and improve your quality of life. But no, we can't do that. There's been no shortage of policy suggestions to level the playing field for first-time buyers, including scrapping negative gearing and the capital gains tax discount. Here are a few other lesser-known ideas that might improve the affordability of housing in Australia. Government signs as co-purchasers. The Grattan Institute, okay, they're very interventionist, left-leaning. This is a terrible idea. As someone who advocates for more individual responsibility and control over your lives, the Grattan Institute. Hang on, let me bring up an organization. Do I have him here? Yes, we'll have him here. One sec. Let's bring up their org insert. Okay. They're a think tank. Now, they proudly advocated for hard lockdowns, guys. Just keep that in mind whenever you see anything from this institute. If you're not a fan of the lockdowns, they were pushing for it. Okay? They were pushing for it. We'll keep that up there as we read through this. Their Economic Policy Program Director, Brendan Coates, recently suggested a national shared equity scheme where the government costs up for a fraction of your home. The government that is stealing money from you. That's how they get their money. They force you to pay them. They take it off you. And I know, all hippy-dippies, you got to contribute. Bullshit. Okay? It should be voluntary. If you get shit service, would you be paying for it? Some of the crap you get from the state. Such a scheme would see the federal government chip in as much as 30% of the home's value without charging interest or rent. This is a nightmare. Then there would be no possibility of the market ever correcting. The rest would come from a private lender and with at least a 5% deposit from the buyer. Under the arrangement, the buyer would still cover costs such as conveyancing, stamp duty, council rates, and maintenance. When the house is sold, the government will be paid back its proportionate share of the profits. So the government gets all of the benefits, all of the rewards, and you get a cheaper way to get into a house. No, it's just going to make all housing 30% more expensive. Don't people get this? This is where I think organizations like this institute, they understand exactly what they're saying. They're using it to manipulate people because they want more government control. Because we're just dumb, stupid plebs that don't know what we're doing. If it wasn't for government instructions on toilet paper, we probably wouldn't be able to wipe our ass. That's what the people think of you. And me. That's why you go carnivore, so you don't need to as much. Some shared equity schemes already exist at the state level, but are small and limited to public housing tenants or to homes bought from government-run developers. Coates said the federal government was best placed to run a shared equity scheme. He also said the scheme would create more demand for housing and drive up house prices, but said the effect would be modest, especially if it was strictly targeted at low-income earners and low-priced homes. Bloody hell. Here we go, another one. A tax on empty homes. In hot property markets, investors have been known to leave property empty so they can time their exit to maximize capital gains instead of locking themselves into long-term leases. This can diminish the supply of available rentals. Yeah, it happens. That's normal. You want to punish people. You want to punish people who've sacrificed, who paid all your stupid bloody taxes, who jumped through all your stupid bloody hoops. Now you want to punish them for daring to keep a property empty for some time. Oh, we can't have that. What if it's a holiday rental? Oh, no, it's empty. It's empty. Tax them. Tax them more fucking taxes. Crap, I got to bleep that one. Last week it emerged that hundreds, potentially hundreds, were sitting empty in Tasmanian cities, despite vacancy rates in Launceston and Hobart dipping below 1%. In some places, taxes on empty properties have been used to curb this practice. Empty homes in Melbourne currently incur a vacancy tax, while dwellings charge 1% of the property value if they get dust for more than 6 months. There you go. So what you do is you fake it. People will fake it, then the cost of that will just drive up rental costs. All of these taxes will get passed on to the end consumer. 100%. That's how it works, okay? That's how it works. If you're planning to keep your property empty for a certain time, you'll calculate that tax and factor it into the rent you're charging. It's unclear how effective these taxes are. A review of vacant dwelling taxes in Vancouver found it coaxed more owners to rent out their properties, but had a fairly modest impact on housing affordability overall. Rent and consider buying later. The private sector has also produced some interesting solutions to the housing crisis. Melbourne-based property developer Assemble has come up with a clever model where residents rent a home securely for 5 years and then have the option to buy their home at the end of the lease for a price set at the beginning. Aimed at moderate income buyers, the housing model also helps renters save by offering free financial coaching. The cost of utilities and other living expenses are also kept as low as these goods and services are bought in bulk for all residents of the development. Okay, now that's bullshit. The problem with that is what these developers will do, they will sell all of the services, the cabling, the gas piping, all of those services in the apartment to a third party. So you'll be fixed with one certain internet provider, with one certain power provider, that all their infrastructure is just the stuff wired in your apartment. So you're trapped. You're trapped with that user. It is complete bullshit. Yeah, rent. Oh boy. Let's have a talk about these ideas, guys. So a think tank that's pushing for hard lockdowns and restrictions on your freedom want the government to own part of every bloody house, or even the low-income houses. Just 30%, guys. You bear all the burdens, all the costs, all the maintenance. They get it at the end. This is not what we want. We don't want more government intervention in property. That's how you stuff it up. Don't people get this? I don't think they get it. Or they do, and they're using it just to push. They're taking advantage of a generation that is struggling to get into property by a system that has been screwed up by previous generations and by a government that uses it to win votes and stimulate the economy to push for more government control. I'm worried we're going to have a strong push to authoritarian government control here in Australia, even more and more. And you've seen it. You've seen it with all the mandates, all the lockdowns, all the people that were dobbing in their neighbours in Victoria. They want it. Let's hope we can get a clear message sent to our politicians at this next election, where we have some miners stepping up and taking some seats in the House of Reps. Wouldn't that be good? Let me know what you think, guys. This one's got me. These are stupid ideas. These are dangerous ideas. They're not just stupid. They're not just something we should think about. They're terrible, dangerous ideas that are going to slowly chip away at your freedoms and have even more government intervention in your life. We need to be advocating for less government, less taxes, less burden placed on you. It's insane. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can help out. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. Now, I'm going to point you to a video that I told you to remind me of. Why aren't you reminding me? Why have I forgotten? Crap. I've forgotten it. I'll find it and I'll put it in there. I'll watch the beginning of the video again. Oh, I'm getting old, guys. Maybe I am turning into a boomer. Take care. I'll see you next time.